Right. So now we are moving to the quotations of the eagle, important quotations of the eagle. All right. So you can see clasp the crag. These things are, I think, the easiest poem that you can remember the quotations is this, because it's very easy, very short sentences are there, and even as there are only few lines, only 6 lines are there, so it's really possible to remember some of the quotations. Okay, all right. So clasp the crag, crooked hands, kiss mountain walls, wrinkled sea like a thunderbolt, azure world, close to the sun, lonely lands. Okay. Now is my voice clear now? Okay, right. All right. So crooked hands. Now even if we have used this quotation earlier as well, like when we were talking about the theme old age. Now you should remember all these questions. So we are going to talk some possible questions as well. But it's very easy for you to remember. If you can remember these quotations, you can easily make use of those quotations to answer the question. And because most of the questions are based on these themes. You may not ask directly. Maybe you are not asked directly about nature, but the questions are based on that. You can just get an idea from that. Okay, right. So we're talking about the quotations again. We'll go there. Crooked hands you can use to tell about the power of the eagle in one hand. On the other hand, you can use it to talk about the theme old age, how people get curved hands and how they get feeble hands and how they get weakened physically when they get old. And his mountain was suggests this possessive pronoun here, his, is important because mountain, he's the owner of this mountain was. His mountain was. And again, the wrinkled sea suggests the old age. And again, there is a comparison between the eagle and the sea. Sea is something really powerful, right? Even there is a poem. Sometimes you have participated in that lesson. Before starting grade 10 O-level literature, I have done the poem called The Sea, just for you to get an idea. So in that poem, you can see how strong the sea is. Sea is compared to a hungry dog who is really, uh, um, very strong and aggressive, right? So and sea is something very calm and quiet. We love to be by the side of the sea and we love to play there. We love to spend time by the sea. But at the same time, sea can cause dangerous disasters like tsunami. Okay, so there, sea is very powerful. Sea can cause the different things, the disaster, such as tsunami, which is something very disastrous. Okay, so but here the poet says wrinkled sea which signifies when compared to the eagle, it suggests the sea is something very like with a very distinct quality, and the sea seems to be feeble when compared to the eagle. And like a thunderbolt, again shows the strength, power of the eagle and the unexpectedness. We cannot say what will happen at the next moment. So the unexpected behavior of the eagle is shown here by eagle like a thunderbolt. Okay, right. Then azure world obviously signifies the sea, the deep blue sky, which signifies you can use this to talk about the theme of nature and the beauty of nature even, right? And close to the sun again signifies the high flying freedom and the power of eagle. Eagle has a great freedom, immense freedom. Even he is able to go near the sun. And the godlike figure, a godlike figure as well. That's why this person seems to be this eagle seems to be because nobody can, a human being cannot go near the sun, but this bird, eagle, is capable enough to go near the sun. So that suggests this bird is not from the human world. He's far more beyond that. He's in a higher position than the human world. So that's why we call only the gods and goddesses can go near the sun. And that suggests it. And lonely lands again suggest the loneliness of the bird. On the other hand, it suggests his authoritative power because nobody can reach their heat. That again suggests it. Alright, so you can remember these quotations easily. I have taken very simple quotations, and it is really possible for you to remember these things. And let's go to the techniques of the poem. Here are some techniques. This poem, because you go in the context question, usually to get a quotation from the poem The Eagle, you will ask to write at least one technique. You will have to find one technique in the given line. So we are just revising the techniques here. This poem is embedded or filled full of expressive language and in-depth meaning because there are only 6 lines, but we can talk more and more about this. Right? So there is obviously an in-depth meaning. Expressive language has been used because the words have a very economized way. Right? So, but using very simple and short phrases, it gives us a deep meaning. An alliteration is there. One example is the class, the fragment of the hands, first sound has been alliterated and creates the power. K is a hard sound, right? And there is onomatopoeia in thunderbolts, and even there is in this line, if you can remember, there is assonance. Bolt thunder, like a thunderbolt, he falls. Bolt and falls, there is assonance. And so this onomatopoeia is really important because it creates a realistic sound effect. And on the other hand, there's a simile, which is significant, like a thunderbolt, he falls. And assonance is there, as I have told you, bolt and fall. Run on lines. You know, there is no end in between the lines of the stanza. Only there is a full stop at the end of 3 lines. Okay, so the lines are running on without punctuation. So we call it run on lines, and significantly It suggests the continuous movement of the bird. That means his freedom as well. Okay, and yes, these are the other. We talk about the other techniques here. There is the personification. He, hands instead of clothes, and attributes godlike quality, telling his mountain was close to the sun, and the pronoun used he. He stands, his mountain. All these things suggest that the bird has given a masculine identity, and this personification is also used to show the power and the immense strength of this bird, this large bird. Then hyperbole, or we call exaggeration, close to the sun, because as we know, no living creature can go close to the sun. And lonely land suggests that he is having the power to be lonely at the same time to be authoritative. And there are a lot of visual images. You can visualize the picture of a powerful bird and two hands, the azure world, the deep blue sky, and how the bird is in a very higher place and watching over the world. You can visualize all these things. And it also at the same time, all these visual images add a realistic effect. And the rhyming triplets are there. Rhyming triplets are there. Hands, lands, stands, rolls, rolls, falls. And this is the we call this the perfect 3 lines, rhyming 3 lines, triplets, or we call it a turn. Right. Now it's your turn to revise your memory and tell me, then we can share with the others some possible questions. Send it to the chat. What type of questions can be asked in this poem? Because now after revising the poem, the surface meaning and the in-depth meaning, now we have already revised, and we talked about the titles, themes and techniques, quotations, everything, and we have discussed about it in brief. Now you have the idea to guess what type of questions you will get. The essay type question, because from the things we have already discussed, you can obviously answer a context question. Easily answer. You can easily answer. So let's give the chance for you to get some questions. What type of questions will be there? It's your turn now. Just think about the questions and tell me. All right. I think we have got enough and more questions now. I also have added some questions. Now just let's discuss these questions in brief, right? So the first one is the eagle is a poem about nature. Do you agree with this statement? Comment on it. Obviously, I would say yes to this, and I think you would also, right? Because there are 3 points that you can use to say that eagle is a nature poem. Because the first thing is the eagle himself belongs to nature. Eagle is a strand of nature, strand of the web of nature, one strand of the, because animals are one strand of the web of nature. So eagle is obviously a powerful strand of nature, and eagle symbolizes nature and its power, grandeur, and majesty. So there's 1 point there. And secondly, you know, there are so many natural elements used in this poem. Mountains, sun, sea, sky, sort of things. So obviously this belongs to nature. All these things, all these natural elements used in the poem suggest the beauty, power, and the wonder of nature. So actually, this is the nature. And thirdly, you can talk about the qualities of nature has been presented by the, like the unexpected nature, the destructive power, the calmness, everything is there. Right? So 3 points are there to tell that eagle is a nature point. And secondly, social inequality explained related to the poem itself. Obviously, yes, social inequality. Because eagle is a predatory being and shows and represents the powerful authoritative class in the society. And the predatory being, although it is not described in this poem, we can just guess the helpless situation of the predatory being here. So the poor people in the society has been described as a predatory creature, and the powerful, the rich class has been represented by the eagle. So that's social inequality. Thirdly, how does the poet build up the image of authoritative people throughout the image of eagle? I have said earlier, now just see, the same facts can be written for several questions. So only the questions have been changed, the words of the questions have been changed, the meaning or the things you have to write there are same, right? So builds up the image of authority people. Because eagle's qualities, when you talk about eagle's qualities, it's a large bird, powerful, having sharp eyesight, sharp teeth, sharp beak, and very what is sharp eyesight, sharp beak, and the power, strength, the largeness, all these things, the authoritative feeling. You can just get in your mind the big belly politicians and those rich people, right, with a big belly can refer or compare to the eagle's largeness, right? And his unexpected behavior can obviously be compared with the authority. They can do anything, and it's freedom. Go even can go near the sun, right? So obviously, eagle creates the image of the authoritative. What aspects of nature has been highlighted through the poem? Go to the first question again. The beauty of nature, the unexpectedness of nature, we also call it the duality of nature, the dual aspect of nature. In one hand, the nature is very calm, quiet, very attractive, everything is there, and on the other hand, within few seconds, it can change into a disastrous mood. Okay, so that signifies the duality of nature, the beauty of nature, the duality of nature, and the self-sufficient quality of nature, because eagle is depending on a predator, eagle is self-sufficient, right? Then those are the aspects of nature. And the eagle is not about the description of eagle. Comment on this with the examples. Yes, it is not a description of eagle's power, but eagle represents nature and shows the power of nature. And by representing the high, the people like the king, the high authoritative, highly authoritative people, it suggests the society, inequality of society, the class consciousness of society. Yes, it's not just a description about people and its behavior. Symbolically, there has been used to talk about the other things. And the universal themes like old age, how people become feeble and weak in old age. That also you can use. And the next one, discuss I have copied it from some of you, someone. Okay. Tennyson celebrates glory and grandeur of nature in the eagle. Again for the first one. Glory, grandeur, the majesty of nature. First one, I told you, the beauty of nature is symbolical there. Using different images from nature, the visual imagery is there. And nature, sorry, the eagle is a symbol of nature. Again, the grandeur, glory of nature is there. And the dual aspect of nature is nature, the grandeur, glory, nature. Very simple. If you can, when you are doing questions like this, when you are discussing questions like this, you just can get an idea what to write in an essay type question. Because most of the time, the students fall into trouble. They don't know, they know a lot about the poem. They have read enough and more facts about it. They have read the criticisms of several people. They have written several notes, attended several classes, and have a lot of things in your mind about the poem. That's completely obvious. So they don't know what to write in the question. You can't write all the things that you have learned. You have to select only the suitable things there. So it's really important. So the only way that you can practice that is writing answers, and you also have to correct it from a teacher, right? Because otherwise, although you write and you think I have written this much, so why I get such a grade? As I have written so much, I should get a good grade. But finally, when you get the marks, you don't have marks. The reason is that usually those literature they have perfect English, right? And they don't have usually a lot of grammar or spelling mistakes. They are only careless mistakes, right? And you know you have the motivation for this. You like this and you read a lot. You have an understanding about it, but you don't know what to write under the particular question. That's where you get into trouble. That's why you don't get it, right? So the only thing to eradicate that is to discuss more and more questions and to write on. Okay. Again, the next question. Tennyson is about old age death. Old age is there with food and loneliness, lonely land, and wrinkled skin, all these things are there. And the death is, as you know, ultimately like a thunderbolt. Also, he falls, not his dying. Some dependent creature, some smaller creature than him is dying. So the death is there. Death is unexpectable. Anytime death will come to you. And with the old age, you're getting ready to accept death. So we can agree with this statement as well. And Tennyson's poem, The Eagle, is about the destructive power of nature. How does the Lord Tennyson present the power of the destructive power of nature? Again, we can talk about the things we have said earlier, right? Destructive power of eagle? The eagle is powerful, having sharp nails, sharp beak, a predatory beak, and destructive. When you are writing answer for this question, you can obviously take examples from the nature, natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, floods, and all things, right? And then, so that is the destructive power. And how does Alfred Lord Tennyson present the power in the society in this? Again, you can go back to question number 3 and question number 2. What we have discussed there. Authority and authoritative are there in the society. They are always powerful like equals. Nobody can control them. Explain how the poet has been successfully elaborating the power of nature. Again, to the first question. And this one celebrates the glory of grandeur